it seemed like selling drugs is the only way out when you're struggling. She said prostitution. She intimated that prostitution would have been the way, would have been the thing. Not. I mean, not working fast food, not doing anything else. Your mind went to you would have been hoeing, like hoeing, like that's the thing. That's the thing that you want to put out there. You like, not, and she's not a Nicki Minaj. She's not a Cardi B. She's somebody that we see as more wholesome. You know what I'm saying? Why would you say that? Why would your mind go to that message that you want to disseminate that? I'm disappointed in her because I wouldn't even think that her mind would go to that. And the way that I looked at her in my head, like that changes how I look at her. Maybe it was a temporary lapse of judgment, but it was a terrible fucking lapse of judgment. And I would hate for my 16-year-old daughter to hear that. Prostitution or hoeing is not an option. Just like for young boys, selling drugs shouldn't be an option. Robbing people, scamming shouldn't be an option. So I think that was a dangerous message, like all the guys said, and I'm definitely disappointed.
All right, brother Hank.
Yeah, man, I don't understand what the lack of self-control she has. I mean, that's what it sounds like. Talking about I would have been a hoe if it wasn't for if she had got early success. Yeah, that makes no sense. So it lets me know you got that whole mindset, but you still got the potential to be a hoe. Just because you wasn't one in her 20s, you just maybe want to get a late start on the game. You got a little money, you're gonna be out there just doing what you do. Yeah, that.
So question. So did she say, because maybe I heard her wrong. It sounded like she was saying if she would have got success earlier, based on that success, she would have been a hoe.
Yeah. So I'm thinking now she could be a hoe in her 30s. It ain't nothing stopping her. She could still become a hoe, an industry hoe. And if that's what she want to do, man, good luck with that, man. But yeah, that makes no sense to me. And like she said, she's spreading this message to other young ladies, because she's on that Barbie movie and she's going to be some type of influence on these other young ladies. And they hear about this like, okay, if things don't work out for me after college, I'm just going to turn up and continue to do what I need to do, So, yeah, that makes no sense to me. She's terrible.
Yeah, and you know what this actually brings up? Let me just put this part in there. I hate the fact that we have no consistent representation for our girls. Put her poster up, got to rip it right back down. You see what I'm saying? We need somebody who's willing to go the distance with the representation, because the one thing they do know, and this is why I don't really let women, they call me the gender war general these days in these streets. This is why I don't give women an inch, is because they actually know better. But they're looking, they get those two, they get the demon and the angel on their shoulder, and they'll choose the demon 90% of the time. They only choose the angel when it suits them, right? But they want to wear the halo over their head 100% of the time. You're right. So we need a consistent representation. We have watched ourselves lose every good role model for young girls in the modern day. Even what's the Bailey sisters? Not the one that's the Little Mermaid, the other one. Chloe. She went from super wholesome to straight trash. To straight like there was no buffer in between. Like wholesome girl with angel wings on her back to ass up in the air on Amazon Prime. Like it was crazy, right? So that's all we're looking for. Somebody be consistent and keep that wholesome image on purpose so we can keep your poster on the wall for our girls. Somebody please do it.
And the problem with that is even the women that we mentioned Beyonce, but she came to the Philly area too. And like you said, everybody came out dressed like her. So even though she's going home to her husband, right? That's not what she's perpetuating. All my single ladies and everything else, right? Nicki Minaj, the same thing. She goes home to her husband, but that's not what she talks about. Cardi B, spewing nonsense all day, right? Telling you how horrible you should be as an individual. Go home to her husband. These women are perpetuating all of the horrible things in the world and then going back to, I guess, a wholesome life, or at least way better than what they perpetuate or portray all day. And it's only getting worse. We started out with propping up like Lauryn Hill, Missy Elliott, and they were cool. At least it was doable. But then it progressively got worse. And you got Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. It got worse. Now we got Sukihana, Sexy Red, and Glorilla. Like, I don't even know if there's any more of a bottom than that. but they're probably going to have to get worse just to be relevant. It's like we're on a steady decline. It looks like we hit rock bottom, but I guarantee you somebody come out more shocking, worse than them.
Trigger Mike, I got a question, man. You know, like you said, that these girls like they know better, and I really think you're right. Like I really do agree with you on that a lot. But I just had a question. Like, do you think that do you believe in free will or determinism?
I do believe in free will.
So do you think these women can just will their ways out of doing those bad things? They can just will their way out of doing these horrible things?
I don't even watch what they say. I watch what they do. So the reason why I'm going to say they can will themselves out of it is because we see how they purposely will themselves into it. One of the things that I'm watching very closely is that every woman that has done a deep dive into hoism, give them around 35 through 40 years old, they come back trying to claim their virtue because they realize it's the only thing of value that a man wants. Just watch. All the women, Black China, all of them, they're coming back trying to claim their virtue either through the church, either through getting doctorate degrees from whatever, trying to clean up their image because they realize their virtue is the only thing that we value at the end of the day. So yeah, they can will, if they could have willed themselves to do that after they've done OnlyFans, they could have willed themselves to not do all the stuff that got us thinking they were a hoe in the first place.
Can you agree that they are influenced to do what they do? That they're influenced by darker forces?
Absolutely. And those darker forces are winning. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So if they're influenced to do it, then like everybody's on a deterministic path. Everybody actually doesn't have free will. This is something that I've taken a hard stance against lately, and I really believe in determinism now. And like a lot of these people, I don't think that they have a choice. Like it goes back to us needing to forgive our parents, like forgiving our mother, forgiving our father, forgiving ourselves, and that influence. It's a deterministic path. I don't blame the women anymore. I don't think that they have free will. I really think that like we need to help them as best as we can to heal, you know, to forgive their father, forgive their mother, forgive themselves. But I don't think that we can do it by telling them that they're messing up their free will because they're influenced by the environment, and we build the environment as men. You know.
I'm glad you said that last part because my first thought when they were talking was that O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube, I thought he was the toughest guy in the world. And turns out him and Snoop was both married. Ice Cube wasn't a gangster, but he was pushing the gangster message. So for decades, black men was pushing the gangster message when they weren't gangsters. So this playbook, kind of to what Purple Pill alluded to, I don't know if it was intentionally or not, this playbook was set by us. It sounds crazy, but it was set by us. And we ran this play for decades. And these guys made billions off this same play. And the record industry made billions off this same play. They running the same play.